Oh. 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 Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. By show of hands, how many of you were part of the Freedom Talk this past Sunday? Live or recorded? Okay. They're very practical, and I'm encouraging you to make Meaningful Mornings part of your weekend also. A seeker had asked, she has an opportunity to take on more responsibilities, in which case her relationship with self-development will have to change, or to not take up those responsibilities, in which case her relationship with self-development doesn't have to. My suggestion to her was to take up more responsibilities, but before she does so, to plan her lifestyle in such a way to engage in more sadhana and to engage in more satsang. Sadhana is like preparing you for your responsibilities. Satsang is like freeing you from your responsibilities so that you feel balanced. Another seeker had asked a question, and this one was anonymous. He is finding that he has less responsibilities, less of a drive towards articles, being, circumstances. How not to lose himself? And my response was, engage in more sadhana. Whether more responsibilities or less responsibilities, sadhana makes you more authentic and deep, and he should engage in more seva. Because if you don't use your equipments will use you. Now, all of us are on this spectrum. For some of us, every day, more responsibilities, for some, less responsibilities. Make sure you're staying within this framework of satsang, seva, sadhana. Once you leave this triangle, there's a significant chance you will be lost. Lost to the sacred, lost to divinity. So Meaningful Mornings is our check. In Sanskrit, in the science of development, one of the words to describe the body is annamaya. Maya means to be filled up with, and anna means food. Are your bodies filled up with food right now? If not now, soon, correct? Anna doesn't just mean food. The philosophical meaning of anna is that which you eat, and then that which is eaten. So what is my body? My body is that which eats, and then what will happen to my body? It will be eaten, correct? By worms, etc. So are you your body? This body is just a game of earth. Sometimes it looks like this, sometimes it looks like that. The soil, the trees outside. You are more. Shri Krishna introduces some technical terms in verse 28. He says, Guna karma vibhagashaha. This is a division, a game of gunas. Gunas that are close, gunas that are far. And then I further explain to all of you, this is the seed for chapter 4. I'm going to explain this one more time for now, because this is that important. In chapter 4, Shri Krishna says, your varna. The English word for varna is personality, is determined by your guna. Guna is your propensity. If you think of the people you live with, some have a propensity to stay up late, some have a propensity to wake up in the morning, correct? So my personality is my propensity. And typically, our propensity gets expressed as karma, which is a profession, whether you're paid for it or not. Typically. But for many who have not found their position in life, though their karma is going in one direction, their guna is different, correct? And that's why it is wrong to interpret one's profession as being one's personality. That's casteism. That is not what Sri Krishna has taught in chapter 4, nor in chapter 3. Our personality is not determined externally, it is determined internally. So who are we to judge anyone? Who are we to label one as being this or that? And making this fully subjective, you are more than your profession, you are more than your propensity, you are more than your personality. That's what Sri Krishna is trying to say in chapter 3. I'm continuing to make sure we're clear about verse 28 because it is deep. Our blueprint, which in Swami Chinmayananda's BMI chart is the V, or Vasana. That gets expressed as ashanas, or desires, in the intellect. So far, so good. Blueprint expresses as desires. The desires express as thoughts in the mind. Vasana, intellect, mind. Everyone's with me? And what happens then? The thoughts get expressed as actions at the body level. So we've addressed the vasanas, the body, the mind, the intellect. Now what's above that V? That's who you are. You are not that which is below the V. You're not the V, you're that which is above the V, which is Om, divinity. The typical ego identifies with the equipments, identifies with the experiences. Guna, karma. We are training ourselves not to be the typical ego. We are trying to be egoless, and that demands us to be more observant. Be an observer, sakshi. Is everyone all right? I'm observing you identifying with confusion right now. We'll continue. Verse 29 expresses the same sentiment. One should never feel overwhelmed. Even if you technically should feel overwhelmed, what is the point? And I've repeatedly reminded you about how much Sri Krishna loves you. These are just seeds. We will study the plant in chapter 4 and chapter 5. Those who are overwhelmed, that's really you nurturing impatience. Be patient. You think I just learned all of this today? I've been doing this 100 hours a week since 2005. I barely know what I'm talking about. Verse 29. Prakritir guna sammudaha sajjante guna karmasu tana kritsna vido mandan kritsna vinna vichalaye. First quarter, sammudaha, those who are very foolish. In other words, those who live in an instinctive way, not an intentional way. Prakritehe guna, they are deluded by the gunas. Gunas means qualities, gunas means limits. The implication of the word deluded, they feel they are the doer. The key sentiment in this first quarter, those who are ignorant, they ignore reality, they feel they are the doer. And this is a fact. For those who have faith in Narayana, Narayana is infinity. How can I be the doer? For those who have faith in nature, nature is energy. How can I be the doer? If I'm a doer, what's going to happen in the second quarter? Sajjante. I get attached to what? Guna karmasu. Whatever my thoughts are, that's the guna. I get attached to the actions then, that is the karma. And specifically, that my actions are going to make me happy. Sajjante, which means attached, the implication here is one who is a deserver, deservership. If you think authentically and deeply about deservership, it is a form of escapism. Escapism. One is always trying to complete themselves, not by themselves, but by another entity. Article, being, circumstance. See, all of us know that clearly when it comes to an alcoholic. They're escaping, trying to find completion through alcohol. We just do that through results, through phala. Continuing, summarizing the first line, tan akritsna vidaha mandan. Mandan, those who are forgetful. Why are they forgetful? Akritsna vidaha, their understanding is tainted. Your commentary says they have an imperfect knowledge. Shared differently, they are misvaluing what is happening, misvaluing it. If someone misvalues a stock, that's illegal. If someone misvalues a degree or diploma, it will get you this job at this rate and this pay, that's illegal. The misvaluing that is happening, the ego that identifies with what? The equipments. The equipments are that which act. And what do these equipments do? They create experiences, which is a result. In other words, our ego is misvaluing that we can create completeness. That's not illegal, that's immoral. It reduces our morale. Because I keep using these equipments to create experiences, but I'm never complete. Acharya Shankara I shared in a different text. Drashta nashta swabhava, which means as soon as you experience a result, drashta, what happens? Nashta. It goes away. In other words, whatever you felt in that moment, it starts to fade, no? I think this is called the law of diminishing returns. Have I said that correctly? The law of diminishing returns. Copied from Acharya Shankara. Last quarter, Kritsna vit na vichalayate. Vichalayet, similar words. For those Kritsna vit, who have a perfect knowledge or an understanding that is not tainted, na vichalayet, they should not disturb, they should not shake those who have this tainted understanding, this misvalue. They should not disturb them. The summary implication here is you cannot force another person's propensity. You cannot force that which is authentic and deep. It has to be natural. Those who are rajasic or aggressive, they're trying to find completeness through results. What should those who have a fuller understanding do? Engage them in action and educate them to find completeness, not in the results, but in that action. But if all of a sudden you say, don't depend on results, don't engage in actions, that will be worse for them. Engage and educate. For those whom I serve with and serve with me, after our retreats, after our courses, we always have a debrief. And our debrief flows in this way: 2 compliments and a criticism. Everyone has to share 2 compliments about that retreat, that course, but then you also have to share a criticism. A criticism meaning how to be better. And the point is, you lift up, you come down, there's still a net utility, correct? You're still up 1. But if I just criticize without any compliment, it hurts people. They will go from rajasic to tamasic. That's why I always praise you before I begin the shloka. But then I talk about the problem. But at the end, I go back to praise. So net utility. From inspiration to application. Today also I've run out of time. So we'll debrief on yesterday's rad and today's rad tomorrow. Here is your rad for today. This is a mandatory rad because you all think this is not mandatory. This is a mandatory rad. I want you to write a reflection. I'm not concerned about what, but I want you to write a reflection on the Chinmay Mission Niagara website. In the Meaningful Morning section, you must write a reflection on whatever you're reflecting upon. Even if it's nothing, write Shunyavadi. I believe in nothingness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.